don't think the housing market's going to crash in 2026 for these 4 reasons. Number one, 40% of people who own their home do not have a mortgage. They have property taxes and homeowner insurance and a little bit of maintenance. So if you think about that on a $400,000 home, their monthly payment is sitting around $800 to $1,000 a month, which is way less than the average apartment in this country. So they're sitting pretty. Group number 2, 52% of Americans have a 4% interest rate or lower, meaning they probably bought their house before 2020. So they could have bought it in 2005, 2010, 2015. Houses back then were $150,000, $200,000, $250,000. They have a 3%, 4% interest rate. Their payment out the door is probably $1,200 to $1,500. Again, that is cheaper than most apartments in this country. They are sitting pretty. Group number 3, these are the folks who bought between 2022 and 2026. Now, some of them do have elevated interest rates and they might have a $2,500 to $3,500 monthly payment. Let's just hope these folks didn't over leverage themselves and that they're not sitting and being house poor because everything's become more expensive. But at the same time, you had to have money these past 4 years to qualify. They're not handing out loans like they were in 2005, 6, 7, and 8 like candy. You have to prove your income, your credit, your debt to income. So I think this group is going to be just fine. They're just a little more stuck right now. Now, number 4, people are going to say, yeah, but there's a whole generation who's struggling to buy a home right now. So isn't that going to bring houses down because people can't really buy? Sure, but the top 3 groups aren't selling. They're kind of stuck because who would want to get rid of their paid off house to go get a 6% interest rate? Who would want to get rid of their 3 or 4% interest rate for a 6% interest rate? And the people in group 3 who just bought didn't really have enough time for their house to appreciate in a meaningful way. So if they sold after just 2 or 3 years, they're probably going to break even or lose money. So they're not selling. So I think the market's just stale. It's just stuck. If rates go back up to 6.5% or 7%, I think it's going to be a little bit of the same. If they drop to 5%, will it move the market a little bit? And if it does move the market, will the 5% interest rate encourage more buyers, which will then encourage prices to go up a little bit? We gotta have to see what happens in the next 3 to 6 months, but I personally just don't think the market's going to crash by 30 or 40%. I do think there's going to be localized markets that are going to see potentially a 3% dip or something like that, but 20, 30, 40% crash, my personal opinion, do your research, I do not think so.